Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman, and you are listening to this podcast, which I think may be the most important podcast we've ever done. If you are a fan of the show, please hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to say every day, expands our base. It is early in the morning on this Saturday morning. I went to bed so disturbed that I felt I had to get up and do this special podcast from Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am a rational, thinking person, and I believe in the American system. And I believe in American democracy. I could talk about the fact that Donald Trump is still an election denier. I could talk about his absurd statements over a long period of time. But I've chosen to focus on his charge that Haitians in Springfield are eating cats and dogs and, yes, geese and other household pets. The governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, has denounced this lie. He has done so clearly and precisely. Let me point out that Mike DeWine is a conservative Republican. The county officials in Springfield, who are Republicans, have all denounced this as a lie. In Springfield, violence has hit the community. The high school closed for the last 2 days, and yet Donald Trump continues to utter an absolute falsehood. Where are the voices that will denounce this falsehood? I say this as someone who was for many years a Republican, as someone who has believed in the American system. When I heard that George W. Bush would be silent about this nonsense, this attack on America, and it is an attack on America, I thought to myself, if his grandfather, Prescott Bush, or his father, George Herbert Walker Bush, were alive, they would be rolling over in their graves. Do you understand that the American people are being asked to put back in the White House a man who is repeating a lie, truly, and I've said it before. Donald Trump is like the emperor who has no clothes. But more than that, do you remember the old expression, Teflon president? It appears when it applied to Ronald Reagan, people accepted it. They accepted it with some humor because whatever you thought of Ronald Reagan, he was fundamentally an honest man. This Teflon president is not an honest man. This Teflon president makes statements, and people who should know better are silent. It is time for the Republican Party. It is time for responsible officials in the Republican Party, more than time, to stand up and say enough is enough. I attended a discussion with a man for whom I have great regard, and when I said to him that Donald Trump is blunt and honest, that he will weaponize the Justice Department, the response was, well, the Democrats have weaponized the Justice Department. What nonsense. What claptrap. The simple truth is that Donald Trump has broken the law. Donald Trump has broken the trust of the American people. Donald Trump is now repeating a lie which is causing violence to an American community. And Donald Trump is not criticized for it? And what about his vice presidential running mate, J.D. Vance? He's from Ohio. He knows better. And yet he repeats this lie as well. Look, I'm a rational, clear-thinking person. But this, my friends, goes beyond the pale. This, well, so many things disqualify Donald Trump. But this is absolutely ridiculous. I say this with all the indignation, all the power that I can muster. And I ask you, as decent, honest people, take this podcast and put it everywhere. Not because John Rothman is an authority on everything, or not because you agree with him on everything, but because we cannot allow American democracy to be hijacked as the Republican Party was hijacked. My friends, enough is enough. Let the indignation and the power of his own words be the indictment, the reason why he should never be president of the United States. But more than that, it is time for honesty in politics. It is time for Republicans, for conservatives, to stand up and just say no. Let me say this very bluntly. Why I couldn't sleep tonight, it's almost 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, is because I love my country, and I cannot imagine that a man as irresponsible, a man who is a proven liar, can be reelected as president of the United States. As the American people, we must know better. So I implore you, take this podcast and put it everywhere you can. Demand that the Republican Party stand up to Donald Trump. And certainly, we must say to Republicans everywhere and Trump supporters everywhere, we respect their principles. I believe in their right to believe what they want to believe. But can you elect a man as president of the United States who is so irrational, such a liar? A man who can stand before a crowd of people and say that in Springfield, Ohio, Haitians are eating cats and dogs and household pets and geese from a pond. Enough is enough. Donald Trump must be stopped, and he can't be stopped by Democrats alone. He can't be stopped by good, solid thinking Americans alone. He has to be stopped by the very people he claims to represent. If I sound indignant, if I sound angry, may I say, the thought of Donald Trump in the White House again disturbs me. It should disturb us all. And yes, I do believe we have to stand up and just say no. Let us not allow the very democracy, the very essential nature of truth, let it not be denied by the American people. We have time before the election to stand up and be clear. Whatever your political party, Donald Trump is an existential threat to America, to the world, and he must be stopped. He must be stopped by rational, clear-thinking voters who understand that this emperor, this former president, has no clothes. I want to thank you for listening to this special edition of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along. Let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand. And give me your feedback. But please, spread the word. This is not a joke. This is the United States of America. My special appreciation to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this program. Let this word go forth, not just from me, but from all responsible Americans. Thank you very much.